Welcome to JW Broadcasting. Since all of us experience trials, you'll appreciate this month's program, which focuses on the topic of comfort. We'll learn how comfort can bring joy to the giver and the receiver. Caregivers provide constant comfort. But who comforts them? Damian and Carolina share how the Bible and loving friends help them continue caring for their loved ones. As we dig for treasures in the book of Joel, we'll examine the power of endurance during times of trial. And our music video highlights the importance of expressing gratitude to those we care about. This is JW Broadcasting.
This broadcast repeats the theme of comfort, but notice carefully, the comfort is not institutional aid. It is always routed through congregation members. Judges and lawyers should note this is pastoral care presented as organizational charity. Two very different things. These moving stories of sickness and loss highlight neighborly acts, meals, visits, simple kindness, but they are not evidence of organization funding, hospitals or elder care or disaster relief. They are unpaid member efforts repackaged as proof of organizational charity. So you see what's happening here, folks? JW.org wants to maintain their charity status. So they have to put out videos like this to make it look like they're a charity organization, when in fact, they're not. Patient visitation groups visiting the sick is commendable. But these PVG visits are spiritual support only, no budgets, no clinics, no financial reporting. Pastoral visitation is not equivalent to systemic humanitarian aid. You see, JW.org likes to put this all together and make it look like they're the ones that are doing this. And this is all members that are not paid for anything from the org, even though the org gets many donations. They're trying to give a false sense of who they really are. These are simple pastoral visitations. That's all these are. And caregivers, Alzheimer's caregivers, premature baby widower. Well, again, the burden's shifted to the members. Responsibility is offloaded onto families and local members. The advice is always pray more, keep spiritually first, ask your congregation. So keep spirituality first and ask your congregation. There are no institutional services, no respite programs, no funded support. The corporate entity benefits from the reputation but never bears the cost. They never bear the cost. Doctrinal anchors, Joel and Hope. You know, these are what they're doing for dig for treasures, governing body members on hope. The pattern is clear. Fear of the last days is raised, then comfort is promised, but only if you stay loyal and active, of course, right? So this motivates unpaid compliance, not transparent funded charity. So what they're tying in, JW.org, they tie in here, is comfort is promised. You know, fear of the last days is raised. So the pattern's clear. They this fear thing, you know, they can motivate people to do stuff for free, and then they benefit. They make themselves look good. So preaching statistics are not humanitarian outputs. Evangelizing is not charity, JW.org. Judges should not confuse organizational expansion with public benefit. This organization is just about preaching and growing itself, building its own buildings. So judges should not confuse this with this organization doing any humanitarian aid. Now, they end with a song about love that creates emotional closure. But emotional bonding is not the same as transparent, audited humanitarian work. So if we take a look at James 1 and 27, it defines pure worship as caring for widows and orphans. Many faith-based charities, they operation with hospitals, shelters, schools, food banks, and audited financials. The Catholic Relief Services publishes annual audited reports. The Salvation Army posts U.S. and global audited accounts. Islamic Relief, Lutheran World Relief, and Episcopal Relief and Development, and Tzu Chi all make audited financial public reports. So by contrast, Watchtower does not release public audited accounts. If you look at Charity Canada, they get an F for failure. They're the worst out there. Why do we call them a charity? It's my question. So Watchtower's annual service reports highlight preaching hours and baptism and Bible studies, and even that's not transparent any longer, but never humanitarian budgets, and courts and donors cannot verify organizational spending. And folks, I want to put this up to you. Brumley gets up and lies in courts, vexatiously lies to the courts. Why would it be any different? Watchtower's vexatiously lying to us by what it publishes or doesn't publish on its website. So it's not transparent. And I question everything they do because they've already been judged for lying in court, and they were caught. So let's talk about donations and transparency. You notice what's missing on this segment? And this is the most striking point. The entire broadcast is about comfort, yet not once in there is a reference to donations or financial support or organization opening its coffers to help the elderly, the sick, or the disaster victims. They don't talk about that. Anything about the organization wanting money or showing that they're giving money to help people. Doesn't show that. Every cost, whether bread brought to a house or time spent at a hospital bed, comes from the donation or the voluntary efforts of the individual members. The members do that and they're guilted into it. So mainstream religious charities are transparent. They release audited financial statements, IRS Forms, 990s where applicable, and the line item budgets. The Watchtower and Bible and Tract Society, however, does not. For judges and lawyers, this is the difference between real humanitarian charity and emotional PR. So, what should we look for? Audited financial statements, IRS Form 990 or equivalent, program versus admin fundraising spend, and measurable humanitarian outputs. So when evaluating whether this religion merits charity privilege, the court should ask, where are the audited accounts? Where are the humanitarian line items? Where is the transparency? Without these, what remains are volunteer stories. And again, folks, this is all on JW.org, who have been proven to lie vexatiously in court. So these are stories. I'm not going to call them true. These are actors. Valuable personally. But there's no evidence of institutions operating as a humanitarian charity here. This is all members donating their time, pushing a wheelchair, helping the members. You see, the org is putting it back onto you guys as the members. You're the charity. and you're not getting any tax breaks for it. You're not getting your fuel covered. You're not getting what most charities get. They get their expenses covered. And Watchtower is not stepping up to the table as a reputable, charitable, religious organization. And this month's broadcast is evidence of it. So we got to take a look at this. If we're in the legal business, the judges, the lawyers out there that could be watching this, that's it. So I did a side-by-side comparison. Let's take a look at it. Number one, the Watchtower organization under audited financial. No, there's no audited financials. The IRS Form 990 in US, there's none. And up in Canada, there's none. I looked in Charity Canada. And the humanitarian programs, well, none. They don't have any. It's member volunteerism only. You see, they don't have programs like other charities do. So let's just take a look. Number two, the Catholic Relief Services. They have audited financials, yes. They file with the IRS Form 990, and they have humanitarian programs. They have hospitals, schools, food aid, disaster relief, food banks, and the list goes on. The Salvation Army, yes, they're audited. And yes, they file with the IRS Form 990, and they have shelters, rehab centers, food banks, disaster response. And the Islamic Relief, yes, they're audited. And yes, they file the IRS 990, and they have global disaster relief, refugee aid, food and medical services, Islamic Relief. And remember, folks, this is open to everyone out there that needs it, not just Islam people, not just the Salvation Army or the Catholics. It's open to everyone out there. And we're going to take a look at the most current elders book and show you right after this how it even tells their members to use these organizations like the Catholic Relief Force, the Salvation Army, anybody that's out there, because the governing body knows that they do squat. And we're going to show you right from their elders book. But let's carry on. The Episcopal Relief and Development, yes, and they have health, education, disaster recovery, economic empowerment. The Lutheran World Relief, yes and yes. Food security, health, emergency aid. And the Tzu Chi Foundation, yes and yes. Hospitals, disaster relief, education, food distribution. Watchtower, out of all these organizations on the screen there, they demonize these. By the way, I was in Watchtower for 30 years, and they demonize the heck out of the Catholic Church. And all worldwide religions, they say, are not the truth. They're from the devil. The devil runs them. And here we have the most perfect organization from the God of the universe, the Watchtower, number one. No audited financials. They're afraid to file an IRS form because they'll find out they're just a real estate company. And all the humanitarian work comes from members and volunteer. Even floods, disasters, they go in and fix homes up and kingdom halls. It's all unpaid labor. Unpaid labor. The Mormons pay their people labor, just like a normal contract. JW.org, Watchtower is the only I guess God's true organization out there. So what does this make God? You see, Watchtower has turned God into the laughing stock of the world. They have the most lawsuits on them for hiding CSA. But here they have no audited financials, no IRS, and no humanitarian program other than a disaster blows in. They'll go after it's all done. They'll go fix your hall. So let's open this up. I'm going to stop this recording here, and we're going to move into the Elders book. Okay, so we're in the Shepherding the Flock. This is the September 2025 edition, the brand new one. Thanks to Avoid JW. If you want to get this, it's on Avoid JW. And this is it. This is the Elders book. Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, a Republic of Korea. They've been doing that, eh? to take liability off of themselves. And that's what I see happening here, because this is not Korean, this is English. So it talks about how elders work together. It gets into all of that. But we're going to take a look today at number 11, security incidences and disasters. So we're going to go down to 11, chapter 11, all the way down to chapter 11. So here we are, responding to disasters. They talk about that, contacting publishers, that's what they do, find out who got swept away in the flood. Now, here's the point that I want to make reference to, and I'm going to blow this up so you can see this for yourself. This is out of the Elders book. And this was the same wording in the 2024 Elders book. I didn't look back further, but they're talking about providing ongoing practical support. If the damage was extensive, the relief effort will continue for weeks or months. Elders should be alert to do the following. So first of all, find out who's going to run a hotel. So they guilt all the other publishers into them, and we see that on the video today, providing accommodations for all those. So there's no Watchtower pitching tents here, folks, bringing in housing or relief housing. They're putting this on the people. And number two, ensure that the relief supplies are distributed adequately. So lots of times Watchtower will get the relief supplies from the government, and then they're supposed to distribute through their church or through to their people. And some of the relief supplies, yes, are paid for by Watchtower, some of them, but they don't want to pay for much. Now, number three, accompany local design construction department. So they want the LDC involved for figuring out how to fix your Kingdom Hall if it's damaged, right? And other publishers, so they can get in on the insurance. So they're going to find out if you have insurance, and they'll fix yours first. Now, here's the point that I wanted to make in this whole video, is help publishers determine if they qualify for material assistance through the government, folks, or social programs. You see? So here, Watchtower, what they're about is helping their people to suck off the other charities out there. We named a few: Catholic Church, Salvation Army, a bunch out there, government sponsored. So then they want you using your personal insurance, dig into your own coffers, personal insurance, and or some other source. Like, folks, you're not getting anything from Watchtower here. You go through the government, social programs, your own insurance, or some other source. Maybe a family member is going to give you some money. Watchtower's not. Now, if a particular relief organization is in general of a religious nature, like the Catholic Church, Salvation Army, all those ones we listed and talked about, but funded by the government, well, here's what Watchtower is telling the elders to tell you, that there is no objection to publishers accepting humanitarian aid as long as they are not also accepting membership into a religious organization. So you go down to the food bank, it's run by the Catholic Church, they got a pamphlet there. You might grab a pamphlet and read it. That's Watchtower, that's a no-no. Watchtower says no, they don't want any membership. They don't want you getting into that religion and finding out that that religion actually does more humanitarian aid than Watchtower could ever dream about. And how many publishers out there know that the Watchtower is actually telling you, their elders, to go down and accept humanitarian aid? I thought Watchtower was about humanitarian aid. I thought that's why they're a charity religion. But here they're sending their own people to other charity religions. Folks, that's a crying shame. This is no doubt a real estate company. The judges should cancel the charity status of this organization, start taxing them as they would tax any other real estate organization. This is not a charity, folks. This is sickening to see this, as long as they are not accepting membership. But before they apply for such assistance, ensure that they understand what would be required of them after they receive help. So you go down to the Catholic food bank, and the next thing you know, you're actually helping them out, handing out food. Maybe you're dishing out some soup to some people. You're volunteering your time in a way that Jesus would say, right on, man, you're doing the right thing. You're helping people. Watchtower is going to condemn you. If they caught you doing that, you're in trouble. You see, you're in trouble. That's how explicit these bloodsuckers are. Just go in and suck out the resources. Don't find out anything about the organization. Don't get involved with their organization. You see what they want, what would be required of them after they receive help. Well, you can volunteer anywhere. No one's requiring anything of you. You see, but they have that clause in there. So they say these are personal matters for publishers to consider before entering into an agreement. Well, I don't know who would have an agreement. If these are organizations out there like the Salvation Army and you're starving and they have a lineup, soup kitchen, you can line up. Anybody, no matter what faith you are, you're starving. They're there to help. You see, Watchtower does not have that. They tell their publishers, right here, publishers to accept humanitarian aid. As long as they don't accept membership, don't get involved. If you're starving as a publisher and there's no other way of getting food, the organization is not a humanitarian organization. They can't help their own people. So you see the video that we're looking at today, their broadcast, it's all phony. It's all phony baloney. It's Watchtower's making it look like they do humanitarian aid and they do nothing. They guilt the people into all of this. So then it ends up help the LDC or Relief Disaster Committee to determine which publisher qualifies for reconstruction assistance. You see, you still have to qualify from the organization. Maybe you're, I don't know, maybe you're weak in the faith. You don't go to a lot of meetings. You might not qualify. Maybe you didn't check the box every month and you're not a premium publisher. You might not qualify. You see, Watchtower is so stingy that their own people don't qualify. Yet we have the other part of the world, all these other religious organizations running food kitchens and everything and helping everybody. Something's wrong here, folks. Something is wrong here. I think it's time that we all wake up. We all start to smell the roses. And we all start to hold Watchtower accountable. So that's the end of the video for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And remember, keep living your life with love. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.